Isu lingkungan menjadi isu yang banyak mendapat atensi dunia pada saat ini. Perambahan hutan, berkurangnya keanekaragaman hayati hingga polusi menjadi permasalahan yang harus segera dicari solusinya agar tidak semakin berat. Kali ini koresponden CNN Indonesia Ruli Kurniawan akan menggali perspektif Uni Eropa seperti apa upaya mereka dalam menjaga bumi tetap hijau.
Sebagai negara yang memiliki keanekaragaman hayati yang luar biasa besar, Indonesia memiliki komitmen untuk menjaga lingkungan dan juga keanekaragaman hayati ini. Tidak hanya dalam skala nasional, tapi juga dalam skala global. Oleh karenanya dibutuhkan kerjasama yang erat dengan banyak pihak, termasuk dengan negara-negara anggota G20 yang memiliki concern besar terhadap isu lingkungan, seperti Uni Eropa. Dan di Road to G20 kali ini, saya akan membahas seperti apa peran dan andil Uni Eropa terhadap lingkungan dan juga keanekaragaman hayati bersama Komisioner Uni Eropa untuk Lingkungan, Kelautan, dan Perikanan, Virginius Sinkenvicius. So I'm going to kick off the questions by asking about deforestation. I mean, like, you're really expert in this field. So how do you see the deforestation issues in Europe countries and also in Indonesia? How do you see that?
So to begin with, probably we need to take it globally.
Yes.
And globally, we definitely have a huge issue because the deforestation is continuing and continuing every year with even larger numbers than before. And even so, we have heard many declarations of stopping, halting deforestation. Not enough has been done, clearly. And therefore, European Union's reaction, especially after the Glasgow COP, where EU pledged to halt global deforestation, was actually to introduce deforestation legislation, which would basically ensure that we take care of responsibility of our consumption.
Yes.
So that consumption in the EU does not drive forest losses elsewhere. If you look at the Indonesia, you are the superpower of biodiversity, a mega diverse place, and of course you holding the largest rainforest in Asia, which is of course needs to be well protected, well taken care of, because at the end of the day this is lungs of the whole planet. So of course there are still efforts needs to be done. I'm of course a huge fan of mangroves restoration program, and EU is directly supporting it. I think this is a good example across the globe to show that not only protection but restoration efforts are needed as well.
Okay, so what kind of cooperations, like between EU and Indonesia, like to prevent all those issues?
So I think first of all, when we look at our new legislation, I think that will give us another chance of actually working even closer together. Because for the EU, what's going to be extremely important is to ensure that our partners, of course, they understand the legislation well and they are able to implement. So we're going to have a transition period through which, of course, we will be engaging very close. But of course, we want to start from ourselves, from our own example, because that's the only way you can sort of lead by, leading by example, implementing changes first of all domestically.
Right?
Yes.
All right. So the EU is trying to achieve an ambitious global agreement. You like to prevent the biodiversity loss. So how's the program so far?
So if we look ahead of COP15, I think one of the crucial things happening here as well in Bali is G20, which I think if we want a success to be achieved at the COP15 to reach a ambitious global biodiversity framework, to agree on 30 by 30 target, which would ensure 30% protection of the world's oceans and land territories. That, of course, needs to be led, first of all, by G20 countries. So, of course, meetings here in Indonesia, leadership by Indonesia, including, is going to be crucial, leading to those efforts. We have now High Ambition Coalition, which I am very proud of, because when we started it, I really did not expect that we will be able to get to such a high number, but we have over 100 countries, which is close actually to climate. But of course, there are still open issues on financing mechanisms, on financing amount at the end of the day. But I think what's extremely important that when we arrive to Montreal in December, first of all, countries are willing to negotiate in a good faith. That's, I think, the precondition for a good outcome.
Yes.
Secondly, of course, we have to be also realistic of what we can achieve. Not, let's say, over pushing, but also, ensuring that we mobilize all the possible resources, including philanthropies, including development banks, and so on. Not only development funds. That can, of course, allow us to raise additional amounts of funds. Also, being used on the biodiversity projects, on nature-based solutions around the globe.
Right. You said before that Indonesia has a very mega biodiversities, right? So how do you see Indonesia so far, handling those megas biodiversities? Are we on this right track, or in your perspective?
So I think, there are always, challenges. There are good practices, and there are always challenges. So as I said, I'm a big fan of the program on restoring mangroves.
Yes.
But of course, pollution. Pollution remains a big issue for Indonesia, where, of course, additional efforts needs to be deployed. I'm very happy that I think we're making big steps, and we will probably go ahead and deepen even our cooperation on circular economy, which will, of course, improve waste management, increase the waste management capabilities for a country, which then, of course, would allow to significantly decrease pollution. Because pollution is a double-edged sword, which not only hurts the environment, but also people's health. And I think both of those matters are extremely important. If you look at relatively good COVID numbers in such a large country like Indonesia, I think there is still a lot of work needs to be done as regards the pollution, so it also would keep the people's health.
That's going to be the priority in Indonesia, right? All right. So, talking about the pollutions, also we're going to talk about the emissions. So as we all know that net zero emissions 2050 is an ambitious target globally, right? And which needs strong commitment. Then what is the boldest action that your country has done and bring it to reality? Because like before you said that we can learn from you guys, right?
So first of all, I think a couple things. First of all, we have a climate law. So our commitment to decrease emissions by 55% is not some sort of milestone or a promise or a pledge. No, this is a law.
Yes.
So by 2030, we have to decrease our emissions by 55%. Secondly, under that climate law, we have our whole plan, Fit for 55. I think we are the only region, because EU has 27 member states, different countries with different economical, cultural backgrounds, and etc. But still, so we have Fit for 55, the whole plan, how we're going to achieve, in which sectors, how much is going to be decreased, and so on. Of course, the vast majority, the biggest transition is going to happen in energy sector. But also transport, agriculture. This is the sectors that are going to be affected. Last but not least, for us, also very important is just transition.
Yes.
So the transition to carbon neutrality cannot leave people behind, cannot increase, for example, even bigger inequality in Europe. We have to find a way to keep everyone on board. So when we speak about the coal mining regions, which we still have in Europe,
Yes.
we have to ensure that these people are very quickly put back into the job market. That, of course, the houses in that region go through the renovation and so on. So all that requires a very careful planning. The net zero ambition cannot be achieved just having a sort of ambition without a very, very careful planning, addressing the biggest, I would say, risks, the most demanding regions.
So there's a lot of to do, right, to achieve these
Absolutely.
goals, right? Indonesia, we're gonna be like 2060 for these zero emissions. Hopefully, we can achieve the target. So thank you very much, Commissioners Sink and Fishes, for your insight for us in Indonesia today. Hopefully, it's gonna be like give a lot of positive vibes for us in Indonesia. Thank you very much
Thank you.
once again.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you very much.